Okay, all right. So we're off and running. That's good stuff.
Can you hear me?
You look like you're a scout for the Vanderbilt Commodores. I like that.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me. I said, welcome home. How was your trip?
Well, I'm in, I went from Sun Valley to San Diego. I'm in San Diego till Monday, and then I go back to Nash, and then I go to New York Thursday and Friday, then back to Nashville, and then I go to Cabo on Sunday.
Did Melissa Hatfield get a hold of you? She's looking for a referral for Nashville.
No, she didn't.
Okay, she said she messaged you. So...
Yeah, give her my
All
cell.
right.
Figure it out.
All right, brother.
Listen,
good to see
that's
you.
Awesome. Keep me in mind. You know, it's a good day when Dave Lawson's on here off the slopes. Look at, he came straight off the chairlift on the blue slope at Park City. He skied right into an office. He probably still has.
Hey, Dave.
Hey.
Right? We
How's it going, Ross?
In the desert. Ross Voss out in the desert. He just got off his mountain bike. He's ready to go.
Oh, yeah. Good to see you, Brian.
Good to see you.
Randy as well.
Yeah, what's our topic today? Does anybody know offhand?
Drip campaigns, I was told.
Yes.
I like drip campaigns. Drip campaigns are very important because it keeps you front and center and it keeps you top of mind. Right? That's the big thing. Randy's in there, sir. Look at the electric blue suit. He looks like a Polish aristocrat. Right? He looks like he's running for a certain political party in Poland.
It's my AI.
I like that. I was going to vote for you right now, like the modern day Lex Valenza. Okay, so let's start it off. Brian, I'm going to start with you because you were on first, and it looks like you just scouted half the football team in the SEC who are going to go up against the Vanderbilt Commodores this upcoming season. I will be there as an assistant coach and also the person that helps set up the RV. So how is the best way, first of all, do we have the, yeah, we have it recorded. How is the best way to utilize drip systems and why is it important?
So it's, for me, I'm a simple guy. The reason it's important is when you talk to people, buying and selling a home is a want, not a need. So they're not making a decision instantly at the moment you speak to them. So if we don't get an appointment or their motivation isn't really high, we need to put them in a nurture bucket and we need to stay in touch with them. I pulled up a couple of campaigns that we're doing. I'll share my screen really quick. And I think the best thing to do is put yourself in the prospect shoes and think about what message is going to resonate with them. So here's some example drip campaigns I just created for a coaching client that are customized and specific. I would err against generic messages that come with CRMs. They're not specific enough. I don't want to just stay in touch with them. Yes, I want to stay in touch with them and be top of mind, but I want them to raise their hand when they're ready. So I put some bait in my drip campaigns to entice them. And I know that buyers are looking for inventory. I also know that they want a great deal. It's really irresistible to refuse a great deal. And I know that they like convenience. So these are some drip texts that we do, and you can send emails. Emails are not as effective. I find that texting, and we can text blast our database. There's all kinds of great softwares out there today to do that. So here's an example. This goes out to buyers that didn't result in an appointment or that I didn't reach. Wanted to let you know about new Aspen, Nashville, Durham, and you insert the area that you're targeting or that they're looking in. Wanted to let you know about new price reductions where prices are slashed 12 to 20% below market. These properties include Whitby, Brooklyn, Oshawa, Ajax, Pickering, Cordis, Bowman, Newcastle. So if they're looking in any of these areas, my message is speaking to them. Give us a call with your specific criteria and we'll set you up to receive the free list of homes that match your criteria. Many to choose from. If they don't respond, don't lose sleep over it. We set this up so for on day 3, a couple days later, I didn't hear back from you. I hope everything's okay. I want to make sure you receive instant real-time access to all the homes that meet your criteria with addresses, pictures, days on market, and other useful seller information. Give me a call so I can get you set up. There's no cost and no obligation. It's the best way to get notified about properties as soon as they become available. And as I'm thinking about this, Pete, I might even put in here, it's way better than Zillow.
I like that.
Because everybody's looking on Zillow, so it's way better than Zillow. So I just sweeten that offer up a little bit and we'll test it. It's like having a backstage pass to all the best buyers in Durham, buyer deals. If they don't respond, are you okay? Haven't heard back from you. I'm getting concerned. If getting a great deal is important to you, wouldn't you want to get the list of all the homes? Here's another one. We had a cancellation this week and now have openings to show homes in the Durham area. Give me a call if you'd like to go out and see some great deals. Thought you'd be interested in 3 new distressed sales under appraised value. Now, the people watching and listening to this are going, well, Brian, where are the distressed sales? Well, the reality is, I don't know what this person's criteria is. And I know that there are distressed sales in every market. So I'm going to get them to call me, and then I'm going to have a conversation about what are you looking for and get the appointment from there, get face-to-face with them, and ask them, do you want to see just distressed sales or do you want to see everything? We throw in some new construction as bait. 6 Durham homes that meet your criteria on this weekend's tour of homes. So Alan is saying, hey, I'll do a tour of homes where you can view 6 homes that meet your criteria between 12 and 2. Call for the addresses. Then when they call for the addresses, you say, you know what? Why don't I do one better? Why don't I customize a tour for you? When can we get together and get your criteria? I have some seller ones, and if time permits, I'll share what my seller drip campaigns with you as well.
Please do.
Hey, Brian, can you put that in the chat, those scripts, please, so people can have them?
It's a Word doc. Do you want me to just copy it and put it in the chat so they can
Copy and
copy?
paste it. Copy and paste it.
Okay. Okay, I'll do that.
Mitch is great at Word
You're-
docs. That's his
you're
middle
able
name
to-
is Word doc.
You can upload a Word doc straight to the chat, I think, too.
I can? All right, I'll try to do that.
Yeah, just carry it over. It should upload.
I think
Okay,
that's always
all right.
beneficial, you know, and guys, here's the deal. You can tweak it any way you want. There's no one exact way to do it, but you know, in this market that we're in, you have to create urgency and you have to create it where people know that you're proactively working for them. You're not passively waiting for them to come to you. Go hunt them down and chase them. You know, say, are you getting all the estate lists? Are you getting the divorce lists? Are you getting the rehab lists from guys like Randy, where his clients are getting these houses and fixing them up before they even hit the market? Would that interest you? Are you getting the pre-foreclosure list, the foreclosure list? I mean, I just go on and on till eventually they say, no, I'm not getting that list. Well, don't you think that would be extremely beneficial to you? Yes, it would be. So you have to have some kind of hook. Otherwise, you're caught in the whitewater of Redfin, Zillow, Realtor. I'll go direct to the listing agent. I don't need you. I can find it anyways. And keep communicating with them. As promised, I'm getting back to you. Or based on the conversation we had, I am creating this opportunity for you. Or I reached out to the top 5 agents and this is what they have coming on off market. When are you available? That's it. That's what I do. And I just keep texting people and I keep calling them. I'm like a rash you can't get rid of, you know? That's it. I'm annoying and you have to scratch it. So, Brian, that's awesome. Let's go over to Dave Lawson. Look at this guy's fresh off the slopes. He's the luxury master, Dave Luxury Lawson out in Park City, Utah. And he's making it happen. He even has his eXp Realty Luxury ad and his eXp Realty Luxury shirt. So you know who he's sponsored by. He's got the whole getup, right?
Well, I decided to put this shirt on today because eXp Luxury is just helping me get listings. In the last week, there were 70 listings in our market, and we got 7 of them.
Wow.
So we took 10% of the listings last week in all of Park City. We're selling a property almost every day right now. And I can tell you that eXp Luxury has been enormously helpful for me, as far as I mean, it helps you get listings. It helps you it helps you stay with the listing and stay on top of the seller, that the seller loves everything. And you know, right now in our market, homes are taking 2 and 3 and sometimes 4 months to sell. And so getting that, you know, the reports from you know, eXp Luxury, so, you know, and then they can see their home on the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Barron's, Robb Report, Market Watch, Unique Homes, on, Market Global, right? And for $2,000 or $2,500 a year, it's unbelievable. So that was a shameless plug for eXp Luxury, but the thing is it makes you look so much better. I always say perception, you know, reality is not reality, perception is reality. And so anyway, that's why I decided to play the luxury guy. All right, so drip campaigns. I'm sorry, I'm traveling this week, and Pete, I'm in San Diego, so maybe we should hook up.
Yes, definitely.
In fact, I have somebody that I maybe would like to see meet with you.
Okay.
But anyway, drip campaigns are really good. And I love what Brian said. You know, when Brian talks, I listen. And he said it has to be specific. So the thing is, you know, I have Boomtown. I got 24,000 people in Boomtown, and I can tell you that the easiest way for us to get people to unsubscribe is sending them BS drip campaigns. They have to be specific. So, and I wish I had some of mine up, but you know, I actually, you know, we just kind of modify a bunch of them for the client. We do something that we call 10 days of pain when we get a new lead, you know, call, text, and email. There are some very simple follow-ups though, and I wish I was in my office and I'd tell you, but here's a few of them, right? If you want to write them down, they're super simple. Pete, did I drop the ball?
No,
Okay.
I don't think you dropped the ball.
Well, but see, if we haven't talked for a while, you know, when somebody gets an email and that's in the subject line, you're like, and then they're like, did you drop the ball? What do you mean? And then the email basically says, Pete, you know, I'm sorry, maybe I dropped the ball on you. Are you still looking or whatever, right? If you're not getting any action with anybody, one of my very favorites, Pete, do you ever give up?
No.
It's not in your blood, right? Mitch, did you guys give up trying to get me to go to eXp? No, right? Brian, you know, Ross, any of you, right? Corinna, man, you get in her database, you're gonna buy or die, right? Okay.
That's right.
So why am I prefacing, do you give up? So if I send an email and in the subject line, I say, Pete, have you given up on your home search? That is a little simple thing that you can say that gets a lot of response. And why do you guys think it gets a lot of response? Because if I send an email to Pete, have you given up on anything? Pete's going to go, hell no. I'm not giving. I am not a giver upper, right? I'm not going to do that. So it's little things like that. And I have a whole list of these that I can get to you. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to get them and put them on for next time. All right.
That's awesome. Thanks, Dave.
There's also a book that is called, Pete, what's the book? It's the What to Say for Real Estate Agents, the Black Book. And I can tell you that a lot of those are really, really good.
I think it's what to say and how to say it. Is that what it is?
Yeah. And what I'll do is I'm going to put the chapters after I get off. I'm going to find the chapters of the book and I'm going to put it in the chat here. But it's like, if I could blank, would you blank, right? Or, it says in here, there's just little sayings and little things that you can say to your clients that will resonate with most people. So I'm going to do some research. I'm going to look at a few things and I'll put it in the chat. Any questions?
No, I think that's great. And, I think Dave has a good process, you guys, because he's not overbearing. He's just asking specific questions. If he can be a resource and be there to help them find what they want, but you have to first determine, are the people still looking? And you have to check their temperature and their motivation. Because some people are kind of in and out, right? Other people are hot to trot. Their lease is ending, or they have to move for work, or they hate their wife, or they hate their husband, or they're outgrowing their house, or, somebody passed away and they have to get it sold. There's a lot of different scenarios. You have to understand what the play is before you start dripping on them. And you don't want to drip and rip. You want to drip and create curiosity. That's the big thing. All right, let's go to the rose between all the thorns, Corinna. All right, Corinna, how do you use drip systems? Because like Dave said, I know that if they're in your CRM, they're either going to buy or die. So how do you drip on people and keep them motivated, keep them in the game, and keep them moving forward?
So I not only leverage the CRM, but I really leverage my MailChimp account for a lot of my drip campaigns. And I love drip campaigns because if you can automate it, you can kind of set it and forget it and keep an eye on it without, so it's a constant. You have to be consistent with, if you don't set it and forget it and you have to do it manually, you have to put it in your calendar because you will end up missing the boat. So like Dave, which I think he's really like my brother from another mother, is that I keep it simple, but I also give them a call to action in there. So if I was asking if I did I drop the ball, I have something similar to that I use with people that maybe are in a search campaign, that I have people searching, and sometimes if they're not raising their hand, it's easy to forget about them sometimes, right? If you put them in your MLS search or your CRM search. So I take all those addresses and drop them into my MailChimp, and they go on a particular drip campaign. And then I'll ask them, would it help you if I could set up a different type of search where we look for off-market properties? And give me a call. And then my phone blows up. Every time I send that one out, it blows up. And then we're talking about which neighborhoods they want and what more specific than what just looking on the MLS. And so that really helps. So I have several that go that way. I pull the leads that I get from Facebook ads, and anywhere else that I'm doing boosts. If you're using, KV Core, you can do a boost there and you get all their contact info sent right to your phone, right? And your email. I grab all that stuff and I put them in a search. And then I have different things that I'll ask them when they're doing, that they come in off of an ad. I've noticed that you were looking at this house, and now they don't really want to even talk to me on the phone, right? They just ended up having to put their name and number somewhere. So I found that, you can try calling them, but most of the time it's either a wrong number or they hang up on you. So I like to send an email out first, telling them that I'm going to be reaching out to them because I want to find out more about what they're looking for, so they don't have 15,000 realtors calling them every time they click on something. That one gets rave reviews, right? And so I put in there, please write back so I know to call you morning or evening. And I'd like to do it this Wednesday at, these 2 times. And they will write back. No, please don't call me. I was just interested in seeing what that 72-foot dock looked like. We have a house, we're not looking. Okay, great. Then I just send them a nice response back. No problem. I'll take you off the list. However, would you like me to set you up on a market analysis so you can always know what's going on within the market? And again, so you don't have to talk to a realtor. And I get a yes, keep me on that list. So I don't lose them. 99% of them stay with me through the process. And I eventually get them on the phone, but I'm not speed dial happy to get them on the phone right away because I feel like I'm going to lose them. So instead, I have found over the years, it's better to drip on them, kind of like love on them a little bit, give them value in some of the things that you send out, and then they want to have a conversation with you.
Okay, cool. So you're really utilizing MailChimp to stay in front, be front and center, and be top of mind, right? So that's the key.
That's right.
Okay.
And then I learned from Mitch that when they raise their hand, then I send them over to my CRM. My
Okay.
CRM was a little bit of a hot mess with a lot of different things going on, and this is much easier to manage this way.
And who designs your MailChimp campaigns?
I do.
Okay. Do they have in
Yeah.
MailChimp, because I know a lot of people will probably want to know this, do they have templates or do you have to hire a graphic designer to design something? What are the calls to action?
Yeah. So I write all that stuff myself. I'm sure you could hire someone from like a Fiverr or an Upwork who could go in and set that up for you. I'm a good copywriter, so I didn't need to hire that out.
Well, yeah, you need copyright. Brian's unbelievable copyright.
And if you use AI, you could also have AI help you write that stuff out, and then you wouldn't need to actually have to hire someone unless you wanted specific graphics or something dropped in there. But it's pretty easy to set that up.
Yeah, and a lot of people use MailChimp. What's the other one that they use? There's MailChimp and there's
Constant Contact.
Constant
Yeah.
Contact is another one. Yeah. So you can use any of those. I think the key is just being in front of people. So I'm glad that you said that, Karenna. Mitch has been using AI to regrow his hair. You can see the effect. It's been really
It's
effective.
working great.
Yeah, it's going,
You
it's
just see
going
my
great.
back. It's coming back. Let me show you.
Yeah, you need it braided.
Now, Mitch, listen, before I get to Ross the boss out in the desert, you've been the godfather of online leads and follow-up, and the key to that is dripping people. I mean, I was blown away when you told me that you sold, I think, 5 houses. It was either last year or the year before, and the people originally contacted you in 2008. So that's 15 years of dripping. So you're like the world champion of dripping. So what do you have to do? You're the Rocky Marciano of dripping. What do you have to do to stay in front of these people and give these guys some great tips on how to drip people either through text or email, and what's the most effective ways to keep them engaged?
All right, so we'll talk about a few things, and I'll try not to talk for 2 hours because this is literally I could talk about this for 2 hours. I'm going to give you the basics because if I tell you more, it'll be too much. First thing, number one, with every single lead you get, regardless of where you get them from, they have to be set up in a listing update. Number one, and it's amazing how many people I've coached over the years with internet leads or any leads, and they don't do that. And the reason, and then when you do that and set them up in listing updates, it's really important that you have a broad search. And what do I mean by that? I mean that, so if they're looking for a $500,000 house, they're going to get listing updates from $400,000 to $600,000, because the majority of people coming from the internet are not buying for 6-9 months. Generally, right? The average time for an internet lead is 233 days, 9 months. So the reason why we do a broad search is because they're in front of them 2, 3, 4 times a week. And you got to go back to the basics of real estate. And I've probably said this on here many times over the years we've been doing this now. Why do people use you as a realtor? There's one reason, really, And everybody always says, well, it's relationships, all that. So that's a bunch of crap. It's not that. The reason why they use you as a realtor because you have to be in front of them when they're thinking about buying or selling. 99% of sales. Why could someone like myself come into real estate with not knowing one person besides my girlfriend, not my wife, and sell 36 my first year? I didn't know anybody, so I didn't have a sphere. I didn't have any things. I didn't do my internet stuff back then. It was before, 6 months before my internet stuff. It's because I happened to be in front of people when they were buying and selling. So you have to think that mentality. The most important part of the drip campaign, besides the listing updates, is making sure, and someone just said this, you don't send them a bunch of bull. So I would subscribe to real estate websites to see what other people were doing. I can't tell you how many gardening tips I got, how many tips I got on how to bake brownies. Lately, it's been pot brownies, but how many brownies, how to just stuff that nobody gives a crap about. So if you're doing listing updates properly, and Brian's stuff is amazing because it's called action stuff, it's really important that you do that because now you're getting you in front of them with the stuff they actually want to see, right? If you're sending them things they don't care about, when they see your email come from, all they do is delete it. How many of you have emails that you get on a regular basis that you see the name and you just delete it? We all do. And I don't know why we unsubscribe because they don't stop. It doesn't stop them from sending it, right? In fact, the old school thumb back in my old internet days, I'm talking back to online dating service days. If you unsubscribe from a site, they actually use that and sold that name as a verified email address. This, just so you know, you're better off blocking them than unsubscribing. All right, so we're doing relevant emails, right? We're doing and Karina, I think you touched on it. The first email that goes out tells them what I'm going to be doing. I'll be sending you a list of properties. I'll be giving you a call shortly. Boom, boom, boom. The most relevant, and I'm going to put in the chat, the most relevant drip that we did that created more business for us all the way up until I sold my lead system 2 years ago was the one I'm posting in the chat right now. And it's so easy. But this created more sales for us than anything else we did. Just checking in, want to make sure you're receiving my listing updates. Remember, I can show you any home in Brevard. One of the things that's really important in your drips, because the consumer doesn't get this, they think if they registered on your website, that's just your listings. So they're going to go to other websites looking for their listings, even though we all have access to the exact same listings. So you tell them that and things. But this one, every time I sent this out, I would be inundated with showings every time. So this is the basics of it. And then it's really important, just as important is making sure you're putting your leads when they raise their hand. And I'm a big believer in, let's talk about databases for a couple seconds. If your database, if your CRM gets too many leads in there, you will never convert any leads. I've just seen it over and over. We had agents with 2,000-3,000 leads in their database. The more leads they got in their database, the lower their conversion rates got dramatically, to the point where my people that had 2,000-3,000 leads in their systems were converting a couple of sales a year. My people that had 200 or 300 leads were converting 15, 20, 30 sales a year from those. And why is that? Because the average agent, none of you, of course, you guys are all ridiculously awesome, but the average agent looks at 2,000 people and goes, ugh, I'm going to go have a drink. I mean, that's really, they don't work. It's too overwhelming. So the reason why I shifted what I teach now to using MailChimp as your email update is because it keeps it out of the CRM. It not only put the people in the CRM who are raising their hands, because we found the people with less leads in their database are going to have more closings.
Mm-hmm.
And this is years and years of studying my numbers, guys. This isn't like I just woke up one day. The reason why they call me the godfather of lead conversions, because we converted 6% of raw registration leads. With our ISA partners that we did calls for, we converted 10 to 15% of Zillow leads. So we perfected our system really, really well over the years. And then once you get people who raise their hand, the grouping is so important. So in your CRM, it's so important to have the right group. So things like active high end. The worst that you can get is an email from somebody, take me off your list, I bought a house, when they're looking for a $2 million house. Right? You just screwed that up bad, right? We also had active low end because we didn't chase them. We used active low end leads for our new agents. So the new agent came in, we gave them a list of active low end leads. Hey, go work those leads. Shows you can get something out of that, and maybe we'll put you on real leads. All right, we didn't waste our leads on new agents anymore. I learned that the hard way. Millions of dollars worth of mistakes. And groups like good email, bad phone number. 25% of our internet lead sales came from leads with no phone numbers. But because we set them up in listing updates and we had a good drip campaign, we were able to do that, right? So and there's multiple groups, but those are big. Oh, shown property. I'll give you a quick story on this. So I never looked at this group in my database. I put it in there so my agents would be able to see who they showed property to, so they'd stay in touch with them. I don't think I think it was 3 years after my brokerage, I looked at this list. There were 6,000 leads in the shown property group that people showed property to and then never called them again. 6,000, not 6,000. Ultimately, making phone calls is the most key to success in lead conversion. So drip campaigns are important. So the one thing I want you to think about, if you're doing a lot of internet leads, it's almost mandatory to have an inside salesperson. If you have a team, your agents will not call their leads. I mean, 42% of all leads are never called. It's really important if you're going to do it, you hire an ISA, and maybe someday we'll do it. We'll do another class on just ISAs for lead conversion, because there's lots of other stuff you can use them for, but it's a whole system behind that, which obviously we don't have enough time to talk about. So those are the most important things. Lily, I could talk about this for a couple of hours, but the other thing I want you to think about real quick before I turn this over back over to Pete, you have, and I said this on here before, you have more sales sitting in your phone than you'll ever need the rest of your life. And nobody, I just met with 2 agents. That's why I was late getting on the call. I was with 2 agents that are joining us at EXP here, and they're struggling. And I'm like, they had 1,200 leads in their phone, 1,200 contacts in their phone, right? And yet they've never ever once looked at their phone. You got to extract those people, right? Get their email addresses. I just did this exercise with one of our agents in Orlando. She had 1,200 people in her phone. She got 800 emails out of it. And that's 56 sales this year she'll get from that. The numbers are very consistent with your Sphere database. 7 out of 100 are going to buy or sell a home this year, right? 800 is 56 sales. So stop chasing internet leads. Everybody's got internet leads. Your lead that you got on the internet, there's 10 other agents that have the same lead, right? You're all chasing it. You're all sending them stuff, right? So just if you just worked your Sphere, put them into MailChimp, do relevant trips like we're talking about. You can't put them obviously in a listing updates because they don't have them. There's a two email program that we do every month for these. The first one is a market update. And it ends with, as you know, as a realtor, I work by referral only. If you know anybody looking to buy or sell a home, could you send me their contact info? And the second one is, one of the fun things I get to do in real estate is my top 10 things to do in Brevard County, Florida. And then you end with the exact same thing. If you just do that, your life will be changed. But I will tell you, I've taught that to hundreds and hundreds of agents, and I can count on less than 2 hands how many people actually did it. The last one person that did that in my group here locally, in 4 months, got 6 listings and 4 buyer sales from her Sphere. You do not need to be chasing leads. It's the most difficult thing you can do right now, because unlike when I was doing it and I was the pioneer, everybody's got the same leads. There's 10 people have the same Zillow leads, 10 people have the same pay-per-click lead. It's the same people have 10 people have the Realtor.com lead. Okay, I think that's all I need to talk about. Have a
All
lovely
right,
day.
Mitch, that was good. That was awesome. You were on a roll today. You must
Yeah.
have eaten your Wheaties this morning or something.
It's my power drink I told you guys about. It's nonstop. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, the turmeric and the olive oil. He's got all types of stuff in there, you guys. It has opened up all the passageways in his brain. So
Well, they were all
lots of
sucked.
things
They
happen.
were all lost with my hairline. When my hair fell out, all my brains fell out.
That's it.
And now
That's it.
now I've transferred the interest, the important smart stuff from my back here to my head.
So the 3 things, so just to summarize it, Mitch, if somebody's on this call and they want to put this into action today, the 3 things they need to do on drip campaigns is to follow up, right? Number one,
Set them up in listing updates first.
setting up and listing updates. And what I do, you guys, is I do a little different. I have the listing updates come to me, and then I forward what I think fits their needs. It's a little more personal. And it does.
And Pete, you can do
Yeah.
that when you're an individual agent you can do that. Yeah, I ran 120 agent brokerage. So when you do it on a live show, you have to automate the process. It's impossible not to. But you're right. Ultimately, if you can send them that email when the listings come out, hey, check out these new homes, and it's more personalized, way better results.
Yeah, and I think I like what Mitch said, you guys. You have to have a call to action, right? You have to say, look, I can show you any property in this county or that county. You have to make sure they understand that and say anything you see. You have to teach them the game of real estate, because a lot of people don't understand how it works. And then you have to have a catch at the bottom, like, hey, watch the 10 best things to do in Brainerd County or wherever he is, or Cocoa Beach, right? And I would carry a cup of cocoa around and go to all 10 spots and say, these are the best things, and keep drinking cocoa and have cocoa on your mouth, right? Make it funny, or whatever.
Cocoa stash,
Right?
exactly.
And that's the big thing, but you got to have fun with it, and you got to attach that to every email. I'm a little bit different. I don't like to say just following up. I think a lot of people say that. I'd rather say, hey, as promised, I'm doing this, or as promised, I'm proactively finding you an opportunity, right? And then you can use Dave's thing saying, are you a quitter? Are you, what was Dave's? Let me go back up here because we have a lot of things in the chat.
Hey, while you're doing that,
Have you
Pete,
given
I
up?
want,
Have you
wait.
given up? Right?
Well,
when you
here,
say that,
can
I
I
want to
share?
throw one. Yeah,
I'm just going to
let
share.
me throw one more thing out there, Dave. That I want to touch on what Pete said.
Okay.
Don't confuse automation with your job or your business. If you're just relying on automation, it won't work. So you still have to look for homes. I think the biggest flaw in the real estate world right now is everybody's relying on Zillow to be our prospector, right? For our agents. You need to go through and find the house for your customer. The reason why I'm really good at real estate and sold over 1,000 homes is because I don't just send all stuff to my customers that are automated. I do that, but I go through that list and I go, hey, did you happen to, and this is going back to your personal email, Pete. Hey, did you happen to see this house on 555 Main Street? That really matches everything we've talked about. You want to go take a look at it, call to action. So you can't just rely on the automation going out. You have to go through what you're sending them. If it's a good lead, by the way, not if it's a crappy one, and say, oh, this house here looks exactly like what they're looking for, and point that out because they may miss that email. They may not see that. It may get buried in their email. So you want to make sure you're doing the personal part too. Okay, sorry about that, Dave.
No problem. So let me just show you. This has been so incredibly good for us. So these are the chapters. So I'm going to spend just a couple minutes. So Mitch, you're my guinea pig, okay?
Sure.
Mitch, I'm sure EXP is not for you, but Mitch, who do you know that might be interested in blank? Mitch, are you open-minded to look at whatever? Okay. I'm going to skip some of them, but if someone says, I'm going to wait till interest rates come down and the real estate market is going to blow up and, homes are at half price, you can say, well, what's your experience with that? Right. I'm promising something. So, how would you feel if I sent you the listing updates on a weekly basis? Right? Could it be possible that I could help you increase your business by 2 to 3x through the collaboration of this top producer mastermind group? Right? Mitch, you have 3 options. You can keep doing what you're doing. You can play around with changing, or you can really set your mind towards making a massive change that we can, really increase your business. Mitch, I'm really happy at England Volkers. Mitch, I bet you're a lot like me. And when I was there, I felt the same way, right? Would it help if I blank, blank, blank? Mitch, the good news is when we meet tomorrow at 4 o'clock, I'm not just going to show you the one home, but I have 2 other homes. One's in my back pocket that nobody knows about, right? Mitch, before you make up your mind to work with the other agent, why don't we just meet and so you can get a second opinion? And by the way, if you don't feel that our listing and our presentation and marketing plan is light years ahead of everybody else's, then I think you should go with them. Here's the one that you said or Pete said. Mitch, as promised, I'm going to send you the list of the top 10 things to do in Park City. So when you come out next week, you're going to be able to know what to do, right? So you Okay, by the way, I read this entire book in less than 2 hours. And if you're in real estate and you don't have this book, and the other thing that I love about this book is it gives you it actually gives you some scenarios of how you can use each and every one of these. And it's the fastest read, and it will help you faster. And the thing is our whole business is about talking to people and to be convincing. Whoever said, I think it was Pete, you said, Pete, I'm just calling to follow up, right? That is, if you should never say that. That is so salesy. You just never use that word. So anyway, there you have it. It'll be the best $10. And if there's anybody watching this and you don't have $10 to buy this book, buy it, send me the bill. I promise you I'll pay the bill and I'll double it for you. So there you have it.
Listen, is this group great or what? Dave's handing out free books. He's like the candy man today. He's handing out candy. He's up in Carlsbad, California, handing out candy. He's the candy man. That's it. Dave Lawson, from the luxury skier to the candy man. Let's go to Ross the Boss out in the desert. He's selling all types of real estate. He does a ton of drip campaigns and follow-ups, you guys, online and with his past clients. Ross, what are you doing to stay front and center and to keep people motivated in a market where high interest rates is sometimes sending people to the sidelines?
Yeah, I love it. I think everyone has done such a good job of kind of being, setting a hook, being specific, having a call to action. All those are super important things, no matter how you package it together. What I really focus on is kind of what Brian talked about first, is how do you know when people are ready for the drip? So the work on the front end is how effective my drip campaign is going to be. So the way we have it set up, we use Follow Up Boss. It dual integrates with MailChimp. It dual integrates with Zillow. So when a lead comes in, we're then able to obviously set an appointment. Once we have that appointment set and we meet with these people, which is in normal cases in Zillow, then we have some hard work to do. We need to follow up with them immediately. We have the plan to where your present self is telling your future self what to do on a task basis. So I've developed buckets for certain people. One is a no task bucket in our, it's a smart list. And if you don't have a task set for someone, then you're going to have a number next to your no task on your smart list. So what that means is you haven't followed up with this person in the allotted amount of time based on the stage that they're in. So if you have an appointment set with them, if you're showing them homes, if you're writing offers, you need to be talking with these people on probably an everyday or every other day basis. And so we have them as a list as in those stages. We call it the 7++, because you are talking to them multiple times every week. Now, if a lead comes in and they're not responsive at first, obviously they're not going to go into that bucket because we're not really showing them homes or the relationship hasn't started yet. So we have a nurture bucket, and that is still your present self telling your future self what to do based on your interaction with them. I don't let my agents or myself get to an automatic drip until we've worked the lead for 120 days. And that only takes an hour a day. So the way I make all my agents, myself, start my day is I'm working on current business or future business before 9 a.m. so that I spend an hour from 8 to 9 and I am sending emails, texts, because people, no matter what time zone they're in, can follow up at any time, and I can pick up with them live whenever they're ready. And then once 9 o'clock hits, I'm ready for all new business or continuing conversations that I started to start my day. And I've implemented with my agents. And once we started these real strict regimens, we've had a 30% increase in our internet lead conversion. So basically the front end work is what we're really focused on, because when it gets into Drip and MailChimp, we can source everyone by zip code where they come in. So if it's an Indio person looking for a short-term rental, I have a 92201 bucket that I put them in, and then they get all of our new listings, or we use Zenlist to reach out to them. for off-market things that EXP offers. So those are ways that we're using MailChimp very specifically because it can be area centered. And then we have a once a week MailChimp that goes out that's general to showcase all of our listings, what agents are doing in the market, what our team's doing with charities, kind of highlighting what we're doing. So it's not just real estate that they get interested in us for, it's what we're doing in our community that makes us stand out. So we're not just in sales, we're into bettering the community. And that also is then in turn used for agents noticing us and wanting to join EXP, wanting to join what we're doing as the scout team here in the desert, and in other areas also. So that's kind of how we've been doing it. I don't need to speak anymore on systems. These guys nailed it. They're all geniuses and they're killing it. So we just like to work on the front end, and we don't go automated until after 120 days of working it personally.
I love that. See, you guys, here's the deal. This is a high touch business. You have to touch people consistently. You know, my father taught me from day one when I got into real estate. He said, look, I'm going to share something with you that's gold. I said, what is it? He said, people don't forget about you. They think you forget about them. And why should they reward you if you forgot about them? So when you're out of touch, you're out of mind, right? This is a mindset business. You have to be in front of people. I don't even care if you call them and say, hey, I'm just checking on your life. You know, today I was talking to my buddy, Brian Moses. He looks like a scout for the Vanderbilt Commodores. And he told me to reach out to you because SEC football is the greatest thing in the world, right? And they may say, well, this is what's going on in my life. Just keep asking them questions. And at the very end, say, who do you know wants to get in their dream home? Who do you know wants to live a dream life? Whatever it is. You know, that's the big thing, you guys, is you have to have open-ended questions. Make it about them, right? T-Mal, tell me about your life. T-Math, tell me about your family. Tell me about what's going on. That's it. Just ask those open-ended questions and listen. Because not everybody's a buyer when you want them to be a buyer. Not everybody's a seller when you want them to be a seller. And always give them 3 options. Hey, the way I look at it, Dave, I'm so happy you asked me about the real estate market. You have 3 options. Here are the 3 options. What works best for you? Brian is a master at writing copy and creating emotion for people to take action. Listen, everybody's scared. Everybody has fear to move forward. You have to push past that. And you have to hold their hand and guide them through it. So they don't know who to trust. They don't know what questions to ask. They don't want to look stupid. They don't want to make a mistake. And all they do is watch the fake news. And the fake news tells them basically the world's going to end. So what does that do? It paralyzes them and they don't move forward. You have to be the cheerleader. You have to be the psychiatrist. You have to be the psychologist. You have to be the marriage counselor. You have to be the guide, you know, because if you left it up to all the other people, they would never do anything, right? And none of us would have any business going. You got to create the business. You have to manifest it. You have to put it out in the universe and invite it. Are you in the right mindset? Are you getting up and moving around? Motion creates emotion. Are you getting in front of people? Are you getting them excited? Are you creating urgency? Are you showing the value? Are you showing the opportunities? Guys, I was working out with my trainer at 6:30 this morning, right? And this guy, all I said to him is, hey, where do you live now? Right? Brian would have loved this. He was dying. So the guy has me lifting all these weights. He said, oh, I live down in the valley. I said, really? How much do you pay in rent? He said, well, I have a roommate. We each pay almost $2,000 each. I said, so you guys pay $4,000 for a 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo? And he said, yeah. I said, why are you doing that? And he said, I don't know. I'm going to save up to buy a house. I said, do you know that you can buy a house with 3.5% down and you don't even have to have closing costs? And guess what? Would your roommate move with you? He said, probably. I said, you could buy a house. We could get you qualified for a condo for $600,000, be cheaper than you living in the condo now. He was like, really? How? I said, let me show you how. Because you got to start somewhere. It's not about saving to hit a grand slam. It's about hitting a single. Because if you hit enough singles, you're going to score. If you're trying to hit the grand slam, you never even get up to the plate. You got to take swings. So I basically broke that down to him. By the time I left the session, I was exhausted because he kicked the shit out of me. But also, his brain was spinning. He kept saying, so you're telling me that I can put this, I can depreciate the property, I can write off all the taxes, property taxes, I can write off the interest, I can still have a roommate. And I said, yeah. Before I interjected, I said, yes, and you can live for cheaper than you're living now renting. He said, nobody ever explained that to me. And I said, let me find you something I would buy. We're going to get you prepared. And when that opportunity comes up, we're going to take action and get you in a winning position. How does that sound? Is that what you had in mind, Dave? See,
Yes.
I went to my bobblehead. This is the Brian Moses bobblehead, right? You go like this, and they say, okay. That's all they want. You hold their hand, because everybody's got to start somewhere. And all these people who are reaching out to you, listen, you guys, they're putting up their hand saying, can you help me? Will you help me? Will you earn my business? What do you do differently? How can you guide me? Because they think we're all the same. I don't ski like Dave Lawson. He's a legend. He's on the slopes, right? But here's the deal. You got to get excited and you got to guide people. You have to put your socks in their shoes and guide them along. I don't care if it's a drip system. I don't care if it's an email. I don't care if it's a MailChimp. I don't care if it's a text message. I don't care if you send it by pigeon carrier or a smoke screen. It has to be a compelling message to get them to read down, to create emotion, to evoke a reaction so that they say, this guy is working for me, or this woman is working for me to get me into a better position. And if you can do that, every day you'll be successful. Just remember, don't be attached to the results. People are going to do it on their time. I don't care if they're buying a house, buying an investment, selling a house, selling an investment, transferring an investment, doing 1031s. Break it down to the simplest terms. When rates go high, terms have to be broken down to the simplest level. I was sitting next to a woman last night. I said, how is everything going? What do you have in the works? She said, I have an offer out. I wrote the offer for full price. And the other agent told me they're going to wait till Thursday. She wrote it on Monday. They're going to wait till Thursday to see if they get any other offers and see if they'll accept our offer. I said, I'm a little confused. So how much were they asking for the house? She said $1.8 million. I said, how much did your client offer? She said $1.8 million with a close of 19 days. I said, so why didn't they accept it? Oh, because the agent ran some advertising and wants to wait. I said, I'm a little confused. I didn't know the agent owns the house. She goes, he doesn't. She looked at me like I had 10 heads. He doesn't own the house. I said, then what the hell is going on? Why did you give them 4 days to come back? Why don't you do this? Call them right now. Said, where do I have to go to get your clients to sign it right now? Eliminate the competition. Would you have to go to $1.805 million? Would you have to go to $1.810 million? And then break that down. I said, because do you know what 10,000 right now amortized is? She said, no, I don't. I said, it's $70 a month. After taxes, it's basically $42 a month. So if you really break that down in today's money, it's $1.40 a day. Why would your clients lose the house for $1.40 a day? Take them to Starbucks twice this month and they can live in the house and drink their Starbucks. They'll be happy as a clam. She said, oh my God, she just texted me, you guys, while we're on this. She did that exact same thing. They're signing the contract right now. That's it. You have to press it. You can't be passive. You have to be aggressive. You have to be proactive. Get in front of the people. The people you least expect to move forward will move forward. The people you expect to move forward will go to the sidelines unless you have a compelling argument on why they should move forward. I learned this from Brian Moses. He's a master. His copy, everything he writes, evokes emotion and reaction and to take action. Because you cannot get ahead in life if you don't get outside your comfort zone. Nobody's comfortable. I said to that guy, he goes, why would you help me? I said, because you're my personal trainer, number one, but you're my friend. And this allows me to pay it forward. Let me take you back in time. When I bought my first place, was I scared? Yes, I was. So I know how you feel. I felt the same way. But this is what I found out. And this put me on a path of prosperity. This put me on a path to having a better life. And if I can pay that forward to you, that's the most important thing to me. And if you say that with conviction and emotion and authenticity, they will buy with you, you guys. The problem is we're running around with our hands out saying, do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy this? They don't know if they should buy it or not. Dave's one of the masters at that. He comes across very smooth. He always is very comfortable. He's not overwhelming, and he guides them through it, right? I think in another life, he could have been a hypnotist. Sometimes he hypnotizes me. I'm like, oh shit, if I wake up, I might have already signed a contract with Dave for a ski chalet in Park City. You know, it could easily happen.
The offer's in your inbox.
Yeah, that's right. You know, and you guys, there's a lot of ways to close people, but you are supposed to be guiding them. And they'll react the way you react. If you get frustrated, they're going to get frustrated. If you get anxiety, they're going to get anxiety. So slow it down. Be very calm. Watch how you react. And be very assertive. And be very proactive. That's the key. I don't care if you're doing a drip system. I don't care if you're doing a phone call. I don't care if you're doing a text, an email, a LinkedIn, a social media post. It's all about connection. Humans want to have connection with people they like, people they trust, people that they admire, people that like SEC football, whatever it is, that's what the key is, right? You have to create connections. Real estate is about relationships and connections, and then guiding them down the path through stories to take the fear out of it. Otherwise, people revert to a childlike state, and that's how their brain works, and they relate it to something that happened in their past that causes them to put up an obstacle to stop. And that's it. And if you don't believe it, you won't achieve it. If they don't believe it, they won't move forward. You have to have compelling things. Always put your name and your cell phone number in the subject line. Any email you send, I don't care if it's a compelling email at the front and says, I found your dream house, or I found an opportunity for you, or call me right away. You have to always say Dave Lawson cell phone. They know it's immediate. And then you got to have a hook so they read down. It does not have to be long. It has to be compelling. No, I'm just following up. No, you sound like a salesperson.
Yeah.
I asked you one simple question. How can I earn your business? I'm going to earn it right now because I just found something that you should buy because it's going to set your family and your future free. Compelling? Yes. I'd say, what is it? There's nobody in life who doesn't want an opportunity. Everybody wants an opportunity. That's the key. So keep that in mind, okay? We're right at the hour. Sorry, I had to ramble on. I got charged up on my green tea. I came out flying. It was like coming out of me. But Dave, Corinna, everybody else, thank you for being on. You guys, listen,
Thanks.
You can all do it. I believe that you can do it. You have to believe it and go achieve it. You can do it. Just put yourself out there, reach out to the people, even if it's somebody you haven't talked to in a year. Apologize. Start off and say, you know, I'm so sorry. The last year got away from me. Life's been crazy. I want to do life with you. How is your life going? How's your family doing? Don't talk about real estate. They'll bring it up. Don't worry about it. And always give them 3 options. You can stay status quo. We can rent your house, or you can sell it, take 250 or 500,000 off the table tax-free, and we can move you to where you want to be, because life's short, can change in an instant. And you know something? I want you to get ahead in life, and I want you to be happy. That's the most important thing to me. That's it.
Thanks.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Go kill it.